I have my inbox open in front of me. There are 5 tabs listed here. The first one is the primary, then I have social, promotions, updates and forums. These are tabs which were added as a feature by Google to my inbox. Now let us look at what these tabs are and also how to switch them off. For example, to switch off these tabs and to understand what these tabs do, we can click on Manage Labels on the left hand side. There is another way to access this menu from these settings over here, but I will use the shortcut to Manage Labels. I click on Manage Labels and then I click on Inbox, which is the third tab. Now we notice all of these have check marks, and which is why all of them are appearing next to my primary inbox. Now what are these categories? Let's take a look at each one of them. The first one here is social, and let me click on that and let's look at what emails come into the social. The social folder or category will contain emails from sites like Facebook, Google+, YouTube and other such social networking sites. And all of those things should not clog my primary inbox, which is why there is a separate category created for that. But I don't like looking at my inbox as one with different categories, so let me remove that. The second one is promotions, and promotions are, let me check mark that, I will remove this eventually. Promotions are promotions from marketing companies, and again I don't like separating my emails into different categories, so let me remove that. Updates is the third one, and mostly that's about my bills, my receipts and so on, which will be important for me. Again, I don't like seeing my inbox into different categories. I'm removing that, and I'm also removing the forums. Forums usually all the emails that belong to a group. If my email ID is part of a bigger group, I get emails every time somebody sends the mail to the group ID. All such emails go to forums. So let me remove that as well. If I remove all of these 4 things, then my inbox will look like how it originally used to, and that's how I like it. So I've removed all of them, and let me now go back to my inbox, say OK. I didn't save my changes, so let me save my changes quickly. Manage labels, inbox, remove social, promotion, update, forum, and scroll down and then click on save changes. And now I'm back in my inbox and there are no categories listed on the top. This is a plain simple inbox, and this is my preference, and if your preference is different, you can also go and change that under manage labels. Now those are categories, and Gmail automatically figures out which email goes into which category. And right now I don't want Gmail to decide that. I want all my emails to appear in one long list, which is why I've removed all the categories, and you can do the same. Now let's look at labels. To understand what a label means, let us first send ourselves an email. Let me first delete all these emails so that I can have a clutter-free inbox. I select everything and then I click on delete. So no new emails, my inbox is looking fresh and nice. Now let me send myself an email first. I'm sending it from a different email ID. This is the inbox which I cleaned up just now, and this is the inbox from which I will send an email. I click on compose and let me maximize this window a little bit, and the email ID I need to send it to is this. I choose that, and the subject is 8th standard physics related picture. Now let me come down here. Okay, so let me attach a picture. My favorite picture for most of my demonstrations has been constant, so let me pick that from here. Space fire comes back, and this space fire is related to several things. One, it's for the 8th standard. Two, in 8th standard it belongs to the physics class, and 3, it belongs both to gravity chapter and it also belongs to the thermodynamics chapter. Now I'm just doing this for the demonstration. I don't know if thermodynamics actually appears in 8th standard, but that's fine. So let's continue with this. These are the 4 different labels that this email can be related to. So let me click on send. And my message has been sent from this box into my inbox here. So I got this email. Now I open up this email. Now I know that I got this picture. Now I need to save this email so that I can use it in the future, and to make sure that I'm saving it in a very organized manner. Typically what we do in computers is we create folders. We create folders like 8th standard. Within 8th standard we create a folder like physics, and within physics we can have 2 chapters, one for gravity and one for thermodynamics, right? So let's quickly create these as a demo, and let's see what the problem with that is. So on my desktop, let me create a folder called 8th standard. Let me put it on my desktop so that it's clear. On my desktop I have 8th standard. Within 8th standard I have a folder called physics, and I have another folder called chemistry. And within physics I have a folder called gravity, and I have another folder called thermodynamics. I'm done. Now my question is, where should I save this picture? This picture has to be saved somewhere. This picture belongs both to the gravity chapter and to the thermodynamics chapter. Perhaps this picture not only belongs to physics, but it also belongs to chemistry. Perhaps this picture can be used not just for 8th standard but also for 9th and 10th standard. Now the problem with thinking in folders is that your picture has to go and belong to one certain folder. And if you want the same picture to appear in another folder, what we need to do is copy that and paste it again into another folder. One copy remains here, another copy remains here. But that's just waste of space because the picture is same. Instead, can we think in labels? Now labels are like stickers. You can create all these stickers. I'll create a sticker or a label called chemistry, another label called physics, another label called, let's say, thermodynamics, and another label called gravity. Now if I have 4 stickers or 4 labels, I can stick all the labels onto my image here, this image. There is nothing stopping me from adding more and more labels to this picture when I'm saving it, but if I'm saving it in a folder, it has to be copied several times. So that's the approach that Gmail has taken when creating labels. So instead of creating folders, we create labels and we stick those labels onto this particular email. So let me create a few labels. Let me create a label called 8th standard. Let me create another label called physics, and I can go on and on creating more labels. 9th standard, and I'll create one more label called chemistry. So I created 4 labels. Now here's the thing. I don't need to copy this email into 8th standard or 9th standard or chemistry or physics. I don't need to decide that. What I can do is I can add labels to this. How do we do that? There are labels here on the top of the email. So I say this picture can be used in 8th standard, it can be used in 9th standard, it can be used in chemistry, and it can be used in physics. And I click on apply. And on the top, I see it in physics, I see it in chemistry, I see it in 9th standard, 8th standard, and in my inbox. But I don't have 5 copies. I just have 1 copy with 5 labels sticking to it. So what's the advantage of this? Let's say I'm looking at all the emails related to 8th standard. So I need to click on this link here called 8th standard. And this same email that's in my inbox appears here because I've pasted the label called 8th standard. Same email comes again when I choose 9th or in chemistry or in physics. So this way we don't have 4 copies of the email. Instead we have 1 email and we are sticking 4 labels to it. And that's the beauty of labels. So when we are creating labels, we need to be a little organized and thoughtful about what labels we are creating. And once the labels are created, we can keep sticking those labels again and again to the emails that were required. Now we can also search using labels, or we can use it like how we used to access folders. We can click on the label and we can have all the emails that are related to that label appearing in one place. How do we remove a label? Open the email and there is a small X mark there. Click on that and it's gone. So now it appears in 8th standard, chemistry, yes, and physics, but it does not appear in 9th standard because that label has been removed.